What's going on, guys? Welcome to Winners Round 2 of the Players Cup 4 North American Regional Qualifiers. I have defeated Arcel in Round 1, so now I'm playing against Mars in Round 2. Mars is using basically the Marco Fierro paste. I had watched him. He had streamed his games in Swiss, and so I watched his games pretty closely. Thankfully, I didn't have to watch all of them. I didn't have to do a detailed amount of scouting to figure out what his sets were. I was able to tell, based on speed interactions in his matchup against Lexicon, that the Dragapult was adamant, and that was a huge deal. So, in Swiss, I've lost to Dragapult Colossal twice. I've lost to basically this team twice. There's not really a significant difference between what Mars is running and what was being run against my Swiss opponents. So what I did was I contacted Namuko Pro, who beat me in Swiss, for advice on how to approach this matchup. Well, obviously, there are a little bit of differences between what Mars ran and what Namuko Pro ran. The biggest difference being Jolly versus Adamant on Dragapult. So, Adamant Dragapult is outsped by my Spectrier. And that's a huge deal, because my Spectrier can Dynamax and go for a Max Ghost into the Dragapult and knock it out. And so basically what I can do is very similar to how I would normally game plan with Spectrier, Regieleki, and Clefairy. I can just Helping Hand Max move and knock out their Pokemon. And I can go for Follow Me in order to redirect away the Urshifu's Aqua Jet if they decide to lead with Urshifu. So after game planning this matchup with Namuko Pro, I felt a lot more confident compared to what had happened in Swiss. I felt like I had a much more solid game plan. It was a game plan that depended on my opponent being Adamant Dragapult, but I knew my opponent was Adamant Dragapult prior to going into the match. Obviously you don't get natures or any other sorts of speed info on this kind of team, but I didn't need it. All I needed was just literally the matchup changes so much based on their Dragapult's nature, and knowing it in advance was very helpful. So my scouting work coming in clutch there. So let's go ahead and just get into things. My opponent leads with Dragapult and Togekiss, and this is super annoying for me. So I lead with Spectrier and Regieleki. I don't lead with Clefairy because in practice versus Namuko Pro, he convinced me saying that there is no way that your opponent leads Urshifu in game 1. They have to respect the Clefairy. So here, I lead just with these two, and it works out really well. Thunderbolt is pressuring a knockout on Togekiss, but I can't quite Max Ghost into the Dragapult. It won't knock it out in one hit, and because of the redirection, I can't go for the Thunderbolt Max Ghost combination attack to knock it out. And so I'm begrudgingly going for Will-Wisp here. This isn't great. My game plan is to max my Spectrier, and going for Will-Wisp is not really part of the plan. And so I resigned to going for Thunderbolt and Will-O-Wisp. If I miss Will-O-Wisp, then this game becomes probably impossible. I'm not going to be able to win this, probably. My opponent does go for the Max on Dragapult, and I'm hoping that they go for the Follow Me, because then I just get a clean knockout. If they do go for the Follow Me with their Togekiss, I can just knock that out and get a Will-O-Wisp off on this Dragapult. But my opponent wisely goes for the Protector. I'm like, gosh darn it. If I had called that play right, I could have just Thunderbolt Max Ghosted and just won the game right here. My opponent wouldn't have had anything to be able to stop that in the back. But I wasn't bold enough to be able to do that. And so I just Will-O-Wisp the Dragapult. Now, if they go for Max Airstream, it's not the end of the world because they still have to spend a max turn to knock out my Spectrier. They just go for the knockout immediately on Spectrier. And it's still okay. Compared to my Swiss games, having a burn on Dragapult is going to matter. Not only does it chip away at its health a little bit, which is nice, but it more importantly will reduce the amount of damage that my allies will take. So my Spectrier has fallen in a single turn, but not in vain, in my opinion. I now have the opportunity to go into my Registeel. Again, I'm not so much thinking about. I'm not trying to timer stall my opponent or anything. I'm just thinking about whether or not I should go into my Registeel or Clefairy here. And I do decide on Registeel. My opponent now has a burned Dragapult, and also I have nothing better to max than my Regieleki here. I mean, I'm not going to max my Clefairy in the back, so I can just safely go for the Dynamax with Regieleki here. And because of the extra bulk I gain, I don't need this Dynamax to knock out the Togekiss or anything, but by gaining extra bulk, I can survive this Max Phantasm that's incoming with certainty. I'm not certain if I would be able to survive the attack without this, but again, I have nothing better to max. It's not really so much that I need the damage, it's that I need the bulk. And I'm not going to max my Registeel, because maxing Registeel is typically not a good play. Now, I mean, I could max Registeel. You can go for, like, max steals into the Togekiss, and then you get defense boost that way, and then you can go for body press, but yeah, I'd rather just go for Iron Defense. And my opponent switches out the Togekiss into Incineroar. I'm like, perfect. Okay, so my maxing here is going to be nice. I'm going to get some extra damage on this Incineroar. Typically, Incineroars will not faint in one hit to this attack, so I'm not expecting it to go down, but this is overall still fairly okay for me. The Dragapult's not going to be able to knock me out on the subsequent turn, or on this turn for sure. And then I'll see, based on the damage, I actually didn't know off the top of my head how much this burned Dragapult's Max Phantasm would do to Regieleki at -1. So I mean, I could have calced it, but I kind of, like, I was going to max anyway. This is mostly just, I'm going to figure that information out. So I actually nearly KO the Incineroar, which is very nice. If it had knocked it out, that would have been even better, but damage is good damage there. I'm happy with that damage. Max Phantasm does come out into the Regieleki, and it does about half, so that's kind of annoying. It means the next one will knock me out with certainty, but there's not going to be any Phantasm drop on my Registeel. My Registeel's looking pretty nice here. So, at this point, I have the option of going for Max Guard with my Regieleki. This will deny the Dragapult its last turn of Dynamax, and I will still have another Dynamax turn remaining. They won't be able to knock me out with anything because they're burned. And it'll put them in a bad spot. It'll lower the impact of their Dynamax. And again, my Dynamax so much at this point doesn't really matter. I don't need extra electric terrain turns, because what? I mean, I don't need to attack. I mean, I don't need any extra damage on the Togekiss. Max Phantasm does go into the Regieleki, which is nice. The Incineroar does go for Taunt, but I'm not going to fall for that. I'm just going to kill this Incineroar. I think I should have used Heavy Slam in hindsight. I believe I used Body Press just in case they switched into... Actually, I don't think there was a good reason for me to go for Body Press there. I think that always should have been Heavy Slam, because that should knock out the Incineroar, and it would cover the Togekiss switching in a little bit harder. Not like I guess maybe I was thinking I didn't need to hit the Togekiss a little bit harder because I already have Max Electric, but yeah. My opponent then also... I'm like, this is huge. My opponent went into their Urshifu, and this is great for me. So my opponent can't stop me from going for Max Electric and Heavy Slam into the Urshifu. Either they're going to switch out this Urshifu, so Togekiss dies and I get some damage on Dragapult, or it disappears with Phantom Force, or I knock out the Urshifu, or it protects. So in any case, this is really good for me, and Max Electric brings the Urshifu down to its Sash, obviously. And so this is fantastic for me. Also, notice this interaction here. This is really interesting. Notice this Dragapult's Phantom Force. Notice how the camera just shifted there to Regieleki. That was really weird. I still haven't tested this since this game has played out, even though it's been quite a while since this actually, this max actually happened. But I haven't tested to see if that's actually reliable. If that's a way of leaking Phantom Force's target, kind of in a similar way to how Fly's target gets leaked by animation. But it made me think that the Phantom Force was aimed at the Dragapult, or the Dragapult's Phantom Force was aimed at my Regieleki there. Potentially could be interesting. Not much to reflect on here, though. My opponent only has their Togekiss in the back, and it is very unlikely they're going to win. Registeel and Clefairy are going to be basically impossible to break. Heavy Slam is going to be able to knock out the Togekiss in 2 hits. If my opponent had, or if I did not have Heavy Slam, my opponent could potentially try to timer stall me here. They could try to air slash me a bunch. follow me a bunch, hope that their Dragapult can stay on the field long enough. Actually, I probably would beat them before they could timer stall me, but Heavy Slam makes this at least a lot faster. It also, I think, eliminates some of the risk. My opponent can't just flinch me to death. Air Slash. This is a Super Luck Togekiss, so it only has a 30% chance to flinch my Registeel, but it's very low odds. At this point, I was debating, okay, do I go for Sing here into the Togekiss? But I'm like, no. If I get Heavy Slam off the Togekiss, that matters a lot more than a Sleep onto the Togekiss. So I'm just going to go for Follow Me's. This will block the Air Slash from getting a flinch on my Registeel. So Defensive Force does very low damage. It's burned. Even with a Life Orb, Clefairy has a lot of defense thanks to its Violite item. Air Slash is going to do some damage to Clefairy as well. It gets a crit. That's kind of annoying, but again, not the end of the world. Heavy Slam is going to do like 60 to Togekiss. Yeah. Helping Hand might have knocked that out, but again, I didn't want to risk the flinch on the Registeel. My taunt wears off, not like I noticed, because I didn't need to go for any more Iron defenses there. Even if my opponent had predicted me going for the knockout on the Incineroar there, the most that they could have done was Flare Blitz and get a burn. That would have been the most punishing thing they could have done there. And even still, I think even a burned Registeel would probably win this endgame. So I'm looking pretty good no matter which way you slice it. My opponent can't knock out my Clefairy right now. They have to protect their Togekiss if they want to go for like the Phantom Force play. So right now what they're doing is they're going to try to go for Phantom Force into my Clefairy. Again, you don't see like a camera focus here, so you can't tell that it's explicitly targeting Clefairy, but I mean, it's got to be targeting Clefairy, right? You're not going to target the +2 defense Registeel and do 3 damage. But I can just go for Follow Me again here with Clefairy. If I get knocked out, then I risk a flinch, but my Registeel's at full health. It's pretty unlikely that this Togekiss is going to be able to break through me on its own. If it does get to that point where, like, let's say this Dragapult does knock out my Clefairy, and then they do flinch me, but my Clefairy doesn't even faint. But let's say they do flinch me. I would probably protect next turn. Then I would try to knock out Dragapult, and then I would probably just protect every other turn, trying to get Leftovers Recovery and go for Heavy Slam, and also try to timer them at the same time, because I've already dealt a lot of damage to this Togekiss, but they can't flinch me because Clefairy took the Togekiss's attack, and so that's going to be an easy knockout on Togekiss there. And now Dragapult will not win this game. It is burned. Its own Life Orb recoil would knock me out. I could just go for Iron defenses to troll them, but I don't want to be that guy. I'm just going to knock out the Dragapult here. I don't really have any reason to troll them. They haven't been like mean to me or anything. And this isn't Showdown. It's not a room tour. In a room tour, I would definitely go for Iron defense and let them KO themselves from recoil. But this is Players Cup 4. I'm trying to play seriously. So that worked out really, really, really well for me. In practice, when I played against Namuga Pro in this matchup, the longer we went, the more it became lead matchup roulette. And so what we decided was the best way of handling this was, again, doing the Spectre mode in Game 1 and then mixing it up here in Game 2. By mixing up in Game 2 to bring Clefairy's lead, I can potentially catch an Urshifu lead. Since Urshifu Cole would be very good against the Oleki Spectre lead that I did in Game 1. By switching it up here to my, quote, standard mode, it's going to put me in a lot more advantageous of a position because it's unlikely my opponent wants to lead their Dragapult. They know that my Spectre is faster. They don't want to lead their Dragapult again. It would be awful for them to try that thing again. What they want to do instead is they want to get their Colossal going. They might try Dragapult in Game 3, but for now, I'm pretty confident they want to switch it up with Urshifu. And so I'm going to hard read that and go for the Regieleki Clefairy lead. I am taking a little bit to just make sure that I'm confident enough to be able to do this play. I also don't want to lock in too soon. If my opponent's already locked in, don't want to make them think that I'm thinking about my stuff, but they are just taking their time, which is wise. In my opinion, it's probably optimal to always take basically the full team preview timer. Even if you don't need it, it's good to relax, refresh your brain a little bit, close your eyes, take a second to breathe and refocus. But I was pretty rip-roaring ready to get into this. Like, I had already practiced this matchup. I know what I want to do here. It's just a matter of playing it out. So my opponent leads with the Urshifu and Colossal, so I get it right. And this is very, very good for me. So now, my game plan here is similar to what I normally do against Urshifu Colossal stuff. I just Electro Web, and what I try to do is I lower the Urshifu speed, and then my Landorus can come in later. And it's going to be a lot better against the Urshifu because they can't get Surging Strikes off on me. So, this is really good. I'm also not going to go for the Follow Me. My opponent is never going to click Aqua Jet here. They should know better. They really should know better than to click Aqua Jet here. So instead, I'm going to go for the Sing into the Colossal, because if I hit it, I win the game right here. Typically, in this position, most opponents will go for the Surging Strikes and the G-Max Coals into Clefairy. So they'll just double target the Clefairy to try and knock it out. That will pick up the knockout on my Clefairy as well. I don't know if Clefairy, I don't think you can EV for that because that's an attack coming from both the physical and special side. Maybe there is a way of EVing for it, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure my Clefairy does die to that attack. Even if you live the hit, you would die to the Coals afterwards. Also, just to make a note, even with no investment on my Clefairy, I do outspeed the Colossal at -1. So this thing will go off before the Colossal can attack. That's not any extra investment in my Clefairy on my end. That's just how the speed tiers happen to work out. The Electro Web goes off. My opponent doesn't go for Aqua Jet, so that's great for me. My opponent does go for the Surging Strikes. I'm hoping that it is into the Clefairy at this point. And it is in the Clefairy. Clefairy's going to take this attack not super well. Coals will kill me. If I hit my Sing here, I probably win this game right here. And I do hit the Sing. And I'm like, yes! Okay, that's like about the best case scenario that you can hope for. You hard read your opponent's lead, hard read what your opponent is doing turn 1, and I hit the Sing. Yeah, that's one way to do it, I guess. So at this point, if depending on how many turns the Colossal sleeps, this could be even really better for me. I doubt my opponent has brought their Dragapult in the back, especially not with this turn 1 max from Colossal. So that means that my Landorus in the back is looking great here. Not only is there Urshifu at -1, I've slept their Colossal. I'm going for the Volt Switch into the Urshifu here. If they give me Urshifu, then I think this game is pretty much over. I expect them to switch out their Urshifu or Protect, but I don't want to hard read that and Volt Switch the Colossal. I really want to cover them just attacking with the Urshifu. I can't afford to let them get away with cheeky attack here. And I call it right again. And I get the knockout there on Urshifu. So, I'm winning 50-50s here. In fairness, Colossal teams generate 50-50s. So, and my 50-50 with Sing is technically in my favor because it's a 55-45 and not a 50-50. But anyway, now I'm able to go into the Landorus. If the Colossal does not wake up, then my Clefairy is going to be able to stick around this next turn for another Follow Me, and it doesn't. And I'm like, oh, this is like perfect. It's like perfect. Can you ask for a better turn? So my opponent slept with their Colossal there. If they sleep again with their Colossal, that would be a 3-turn sleep. So they have a 50-50 shot of waking up here with their Colossal. They go into Togekiss. I'm like, okay, they're probably just kind of baiting me to go for the Max Quake. I mean, there's no way that they actually let me do this. They're not going to actually let me Max Quake, I don't think. I think they're probably going to Max Guard. Maybe they'll Protect with their Togekiss as well. Just try to slow down that damage. I'm just going to go for Max Airstreams. I technically don't need to Airstream here, but I don't want to Max Rockfall into the Togekiss, because Max Rockfall into Togekiss will give the Colossal a special defense boost, and I've got Regieleki in the back. And I don't want to give Colossal extra special defense. So my opponent does switch into their Incineroar, so that's not great for me. But I am going to get a Helping Hand Max move off into the Incineroar. Now, some Incineroars will feint to this. They will feint to the Helping Hand Max Airstream. They'll definitely feint at +0. But some of them will feint at at neutral. It just depends on how much defense they've got invested. If I recall correctly, the Marco Fierro paste would not feint to this attack. But I'm okay with this, even if it doesn't go down. A Helping Hand Max Airstream is going to be able to do a ton of damage to this Incineroar. If I had gone for Max Quake there, I would have been amazing, because they didn't try to go for the Max Guard. They did go for an attack here, but I wasn't going to try to Max Quake in front of the Follow Me potential. I'm not that brave. And plus, I'm already leading by so much, I don't think I need to do that. My opponent does get the Wake Up here, and they go for Coals. That's not ideal for me. They do go for Coals into my Lando, though, so my Clefairy is going to stick around, which means I get another Helping Hand Max move off here. Anything that I basically want, I can get it on. I have to be tricky, or it is kind of tricky. I have to make sure I pick this turn right. I can go for Helping Hand Max Rock onto something and kill it. Helping Hand Max Rock, for example, into Incineroar just guarantees something dies. If they protect for Colossal, they would get a Weakness Policy boost and a Special Defense boost, so I'm a little bit less inclined to do that. I don't want to go for the Helping Hand Max Quake into Colossal. Definitely don't want to do that play. That play's not the play. So I don't have anything better to do with my Clefairy for sure, other than click Helping Hand. I could go for the Sing into Colossal, but I half expect them to go for Fake Out onto my Clefairy to put it into KO range of Coals, potentially. So I remember I was thinking about this move for quite a while. I decided on just going for this. If they switch out their Incineroar back into Togekiss, I'm still going to do a ton of damage to the Togekiss. I won't pick up a knockout, but it'll still do a lot of damage. My opponent does hard switch into Togekiss, so that's fine by me. If I had gone for the Max Rock there into Togekiss, that would have been okay, but next turn they could have gone for the Protect with their... Like if I go for Max Rock there into Togekiss, they can Parting Shot with Incineroar back into the Coal. I'm going to be at -3. I would take the Incineroar. I'd probably still be fine. Honestly, honestly, from my perspective here, hitting that early game Sing makes it very hard for me to lose this game. And on top of all that, if that wasn't good enough for me, I still have a Max turn available with my Landorus. So yeah, that's fantastic. Now, I don't have any free KOs here. I was debating again whether or not, okay, do I go for Max Rock into the Togekiss? Helping Hand Max Rock actually will knock it out. But I don't want to miss the KO. It's pretty likely the Togekiss is going to Protect. Then the Colossus gets a Special Defense boost. My Registeel will be slower than the Colossal, so it just... All in all, I think it's going to be kind of awkward. I just want to just throw some generic damage at this Togekiss. I'm just going to hit it for some damage. Go for the Helping Hand Max Airstream. This won't knock it out, but even if I get a double KO here, that's not the end of the world, because I have Regieleki and Registeel on the back, and I can go for Electro Web, slow down both of their Pokemon. That would knock out the Togekiss from whatever range they'd be at after this damage. And then I can go for the Iron Defense, which will allow me to knock out the Colossal. But yeah, regardless, I'm thinking a little bit too far ahead here. I go for the Airstream into Togekiss, do a ton of damage. That's definitely an Electro Web KO range for sure. It's not in Body Press KO range, but that's fine. I don't really need it to be at this point. My opponent does go for the Heat Wave. That's going to knock out my Clefairy and do some heavy damage to my Landorus, but I'm in such an advantageous position. My Regieleki hasn't taken any damage. My Regieleki can survive. If I recall correctly, my Regieleki can survive an Earth Power from the Coal, but not plus Coal chip damage. I also, I have a kill here, but I don't want to, I have to do it the right way. I don't want to Rock Slide, miss the Togekiss, and hit the Colossal, give it a special attack boost, and then something goes wrong, like I miss an Electro Web after that point. If I go for Earthquake, though, that's not great either. I do have options. I just have to think about what my best option is, and also what plays my opponent has available to them. So they can't protect, or they can protect this turn with either of their Pokemon. But again, I don't have any guaranteed plays. I can't go for... Because Rock Slide can miss, I don't have any guaranteed plays. Otherwise, I could just go for, Rock Slide Thunderbolt, and then I just win the game. But if I miss the Togekiss, then... say they protect Colossal, I Thunderbolt the Colossal as well, then Togekiss wouldn't go down, things like that. I mean, I have to be careful, basically. I don't have any guaranteed play. So what I decided to do here is go for Earthquake and Protect with Regieleki. So what this does is, even if the Colossal protects this turn, and the Togekiss knocks out my Landorus, well, they wouldn't have to because Life Orb. Well, no, they would have to because I don't think G-Max Coles is enough by itself. They would have to go for the Dazzling Gleam. No, I know I clicked Earthquake here. I don't want to go for Rock Slide because I don't want to accidentally, something goes wrong with a miss. So if they protect their Colossal here, then next turn I can go for a Electro Web and Iron Defense. And then I would outspeed the Colossal and be able to knock it out the following turn with a Body Press. So I thought this was my best play, and I also happened to get the turn right. They protect their Togekiss and not the Colossal. They have to hope for something really, really, really good to go for the in this position. Yeah, that early game thing really did just lock down the game. Now, granted, I mean, I did make the right move. I didn't have a better move to make there. If I made the read on the opponent that I did not have a better play than Click Sing, and I just got super rewarded for it. Getting a 2-turn sleep off of that was very nice. And now my opponent can do nothing to win the game. They don't have enough Coles to be able to knock out Regieleki. Even if they had 4 turns of Coles, that wouldn't be enough to rock out my Regieleki. So they are certainly going to lose this game. So good games to Mars. This game, if they had more games, like if they had a best of 5 available to them, I don't think I would win this. I played this like I played 2 best of 1s basically. I tried to hard read them, and I played this like it was just a best of 3, and I don't think I win the Cole matchup. As we saw from Swiss, I don't think I win the Cole matchup, but I was able to win the best of 3, and that's all you gotta win. You don't have to win the matchup sometimes. You can just win the best of 3. So with that, I've moved on to 2-0. With how the bracket is paired up, that means that even if I lose at this point, I would only have to win 1 more game in order to make it to the global finals. If I had lost in rounds 1 or round 2, I would have to win 2 games in order to make it. So instead of having to go 3-1, you'd have to go, instead of going 3-1, you'd go 4-1. Is that right? Yeah, if I'm doing my math right for how the brackets work. I don't know. I hate double elimination, man. Let's I hope double elimination does not carry over into live events. And I hope no online tournaments picks up either. Double elimination is so complicated. It's so dumb. Just do single elimination. It's easier. It's faster. Everybody likes it. It's fine. You don't need double elimination. It's just a waste of time, mostly. So, yeah, anyway, enough about double elimination. Good games to my opponent. And now I've got round 3 upcoming here next. This is my win and in, so stay tuned for that.